we said we were going to talk about Top Gun, right? I have a whole bunch of reasons why this movie is going to fail. And now it's been, what, 2 weeks since the movie dropped? 3 weeks now?
Memorial Day weekend? Is that?
And now the movie's crossed over $1 billion, and here comes Sean Malloy back from the dead. Like,
I told you. I told you.
I was like, what did I say? I said what's that? Broken clock is right.
Like a month ago.
Like 2 times a day at least.
Yeah.
Right? And because I'm always giving him a hard time because he always wants his favorite directors and writers and producers to be successful every time, and I'm always giving him a hard time. Like, their time is done. What's his name?
We
District
really
9.
only seem to have this debate with Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp, like District 9, like, oh yeah, where's District 10? Where's his Predator movie? I'm always giving him a hard time about Neil Blomkamp because he's overhyped. But you were right about this one. I have my for this rundown. We haven't done a rundown or rank like a listing kind of video in a long time. So you have the 5 reasons why you think
I thought it was going to succeed.
Why
yes.
you knew it was going to succeed and why it crossed that $1 billion mark. So all right, I'm gonna let Sean give us his list, and then I'm gonna give my reasons why I thought it was going to fail. So we're going to go down those lists real quick. So Sean, what you got?
You want me to go down the whole 5?
Go down the whole 5. Live at 5.
All right. So first off the top, and this is not, we'll say number 5 out of them. This movie has been so ingrained into pop culture for the last almost 40 years that it's very rare that you come across somebody like Chris who has not seen this movie. And I can honestly say I don't really, off the top, I don't remember anybody that I ever talked to about it that was just like, that movie sucked. And there's references to it everywhere. And it kind of came out in a time, mid-'80s, where music was kind of a strange thing. And it had all the right combination of the retro music, the motorcycles, the fighter jets, and Tom Cruise at arguably, not the beginning of his career, but the threshold of him becoming a superstar. Okay. And then number 4, right now, and this is arguable, there's just not a lot of good movies out. And this is a whole nother topic, but basically, movie fans are thirsty right now. We're looking for these big tentpole movies that just seem to be fewer and far in between. And now if we do get them, it's usually like a superhero movie. So this was something that was a little bit off the beaten path, and I think was kind of a fresh idea for people. And then we jump into number 3, which was where, again, this movie was announced years ago. Let's roll back the clock about 2 years, when it was originally supposed to come out. They didn't really do as much as I would have thought they would have done on marketing. And one could say that that's because this is so established as a pop culture thing that they didn't really need to. But I think in this case, and this may go down as the biggest case of, the delay was the right thing to do. And they knew it, and it worked out like a charm. Number 2, the reviews are phenomenal. And I think Daniel's seen this. I haven't even seen this. I've seen the first one. Chris hasn't even seen the first one. But they got smart, and they let a bunch of media pre-screen this, and that's usually a good sign. And a lot of people like myself, I'm kind of getting middle-aged now, but Rotten Tomatoes was just fully supporting this movie. I think it's like sitting at like a 97 or a 98 certified, and that is very rare. Okay, and with all those things added up, we get repeat viewings, which is why I think that poof. And I don't, when me and Chris originally started discussing this movie, it was, Chris didn't think it would make that much money. I think he was saying it'll be lucky if it makes $300-400 million. And my original projection was, I think this is probably going to make anywhere in the neighborhood of $600 to $800 million. I don't think any of us thought it was going to blow past $1 billion like it did. But again, I think that it was so well accepted that people just went back and saw it multiple times. But that's just my opinion, guys. Tell me what you think.
And you got
I was gonna read right now for Rotten Tomatoes, it's 99% for audience score.
Woo!
And 96% on the critic scores.
What the hell is going on with the world?
So 96 and 99%.
So Sean's his recap for his time. So his number 5 original It's an original. It's a pop
culture
culture icon.
phenomenon.
Number four. Movie fans were thirsty for it. Number three. They delayed. The delay of it was a positive effect. It was Tom Cruise himself that was like, no, there will not be a Paramount Plus. This is not going on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
and
that was the right decision.
And yeah, that was the right decision. Number two were the reviews, and number one was the repeat viewing. I was the only opposition of it. I still haven't watched it. When Joy went to go see this movie, I was invited to a press screening of it, and I was like, nah, I passed. I gave it to Joy. Joy, like I have never seen. It's rare when my wife gets like super excited about like a movie. Like she'll go to the Marvel movies and stuff with me, and she'll go to the typical movie. But when I was like, hey babe, you want to watch Top Gun Maverick? I might as well have been proposing all over again with a better ring. She was super excited about everything, and she saw it. She took a friend of hers, and just like everybody else was saying, like this movie was so great. So I haven't seen the movie. I still haven't seen it. Joy's still trying to get me to watch it. I'm going to on me and Sean's the other channel on Talking Through the Movies. I will do a first time watching of Top Gun, and then I'll do a first time watching Top Gun Maverick. I probably won't catch Top Gun Maverick in the theaters. I'll just wait until they're both available on streaming, and I'll start with Top Gun very soon, and then I'll move on to Top Gun Maverick when it becomes available. Even though everybody's going to be yelling at me talking about, no, you got to see it in 4K or the what's the new.
I watched it in Dolby, and the sound was amazing. Like Dolby was enough to watch this then. Yeah. I believe it was Dolby.
Sean's gonna go watch it in smell-o-vision. He wants to smell the fumes.
I'll say this: I hope that they make a decision with. I really hope that they don't try to make a third one, because I just don't see them apexing this. I think that they need to end the series with two, with dignity. Went out on a super bang, pulled off a T2 and made a sequel that was, above and beyond the original, and made a huge amount of money. Just end it like that.
But we know, I mean, everybody knows that's how Hollywood works. I mean,
dollars speak.
Yeah. I mean, especially since it made all that money, that they did not expect it to make with all that money.
I don't think anybody thought it was going to pull $1 billion.
It didn't show off in Russia. It didn't show in China, and it still made $1 billion. It did. Mm-hmm. It pulled a Joker. So I don't know. I mean, but at the same time, they were planning on making another Bad Boys movie with the new team and stuff. But Will slapped himself out of that situation.
I don't think they need to be doing any more Bad Boys.
I don't think they should do Avatar either.
But
we're getting another 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah, no.
I was so. I'm like, it's been
now
too.
Me and Daniel are in sync on that whole thing. Like it's been too long.
It's been
for that
too
one.
long.
I'll say this:
James Cameron is gonna pull another James Cameron, and
I guarantee you that movie, the second one, will pull $1 billion easy.
It will make $1 billion.
Absolutely.
But I'm still on record saying no matter how much it makes, even if it made $3 billion, I'm still gonna say that if it came out 7 years ago, add $500 million on top of whatever money it makes.
Oh, no doubt.
I have my list was reasons why the movie on paper looked like it should have. I'm not gonna say failed, but nowhere near going to $1 billion. So on paper, I had my number 5 reason. Like almost everything that you guys said on why it was such a success is close to why on paper it should not have worked. Like number 5, it's been too long. I was the main one saying to Sean, I was like, dude, nobody cares about Top Gun. It's been 30 years. Who cares? Nobody cares about this. These sequels, and Avatar was my example on that. Like if Avatar 2 would have came out in 2012 or 2014, it would probably make a crazy $3 billion. But since it's been 35 years since Avatar, it's like I was like, nobody's gonna care about this movie. It was too freaking long. Number 4, let me go my full screen. Number 4, the reasons why this movie. What did I say, Sean? Nobody cares about fighter jets. There's no aliens. Nobody cares about fighter jet movies.
No. What he said was nobody cares about fighter jets unless there is aliens.
Unless there's aliens involved in it. Nobody cares.
I mean, but Independence Day 2 kind of contradicts that. That movie was bad.
that was a bad script.
Yeah.
And but nobody cares about fighter jet movies, and their fighter jets were like futuristic with alien technology.
Yeah.
So that movie should have been good, but it sucked.
Yeah.
Number 3 was history. Tom Cruise has never had a $1 billion movie before, franchise before. All of his movies, I think it's top grossing one, was topped off at like 700 million. It's just never happened before. So history was indicating that Tom Cruise wasn't likely to have a $1 billion film. Number 2, competition. This movie was about to come out right before Jurassic World 3. And what was the other movie? And Lightyear and all this stuff. Like, this is in the middle of the summer blockbuster. Usually movies that make $1 billion are the Marvel movies, like you were saying, like the comic book movies. This was not that. And the thing that helped Top Gun reach $1 billion was the fact that Jurassic World 3 Dominion was not good, and it not flopped, but it just wasn't as well received. So people decided, let's go back to Top Gun. And then Lightyear, I was like, okay, Lightyear's about to come. Then all of a sudden, all the controversy with Lightyear. So people were like, all right, let's go back. The watchability. It was the only movie. It was a movie that was so well made. It's obviously rewatchable, which is what you talked about, the repeat viewing. And the fact that the competition around it was so weak, it just lended itself. Let's go. Hey, Lightyear's bad. Elvis is not that great, or Jurassic, however you feel. People are feeling that these other 3 options weren't that great. Let's go back to Top Gun. And then my number 1 reason why I felt like it was not going to make that much money, I felt like 300-400 million. Did not see $1 billion coming. Well, the other past failed nostalgia sequels, Bill and Ted, for example. Like these movies are usually going to streaming.
That was a mistake.
Like some of these movies are like people say hit and miss, but most of them lately have been more misses than hits.
Matrix
Resurrection.
That was just a terrible movie.
Yes.
But Top Gun Maverick obviously was it checked all the right boxes, and obviously Tom Cruise, he made a killer, stellar movie, and where all those other movies failed. And from what I heard, because I haven't seen it yet, it didn't really lean on the nostalgia of the first movie. It moved forward. It built on top of that and just kept. It had a great story moving forward. Mm-hmm. It didn't need to go, remember this? Remember Tatooine? Remember
right.
Wookiee? It didn't do what Star Wars did. It didn't do what Bill and Ted did. It didn't do what The Matrix did. It built from it. It paid homage to the past, mm-hmm. but there was a great story moving forward, and I think people really appreciated that. So I didn't see it coming. I felt like from everything I listed on there, from the being too long since the first movie. Nobody cares about fighter jets. Tom has never had $1 billion movie. The competition around it and past failed nostalgia films. I felt like the reason why it made $1 billion was because of the perfect storm. All these things around it had to, especially the competition around it not being as well received, lended itself to pushing Top Gun. It was the perfect movie that released at the right time around other movies that failed to live up to their expectation. That just made people go, screw that dinosaur. Let's go watch Tom Cruise. So that's why I feel like why the movie made $1 billion. What do you think about my list?
I think it's valid, and if I had no context of viewing the first one and just growing up, because all my friends and their parents were just some of my friends' parents were pilots. They would just obsess over this movie. Mm-hmm. And so it was always a mythos surrounding it. So I knew it was going to make some money. I'll be honest, I did not see $1 billion coming, but
no, nobody did.
Yeah. No, but I'll say this. There is an argument to be made that Tom Cruise is the biggest movie star living. And there's a couple others.
But
up there.
what has that argument done for him with his other franchises? None of his other. But
like, when was the last time he made a movie that anybody said, "Oh, this felt really cheap," or wasn't well made, or was just a terrible movie? Can you guys name one off the top?
Off the top, no, but it's happened because it happens to everyone.
No, I know in his career, but he's been pretty consistent in his
Vanilla Sky.